Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to inoculate a soil sample onto some agar plates, and some of the techniques I use in this are things that you'll be using in other lab activities. So what I did is I got some sterile water. I had some tubes of sterile water, and I went out in the garden outside the microbiology lab, and I put some soil into that water, and now I have just a soil sample. I also have some sterile swabs and 3 different kinds of media. In this experiment, I'm going to be using nutrient agar, sabarod agar, and eosin methylene blue, EMB. First of all, when I use agar plates of any kind, I need to label them. And so in this experiment, since I'm using 3 different kinds of media, I definitely want to write the name of the media on there. And I wrote NA for nutrient agar. I want to identify what I'm putting on there. I'm going to put garden soil. And I'll put my initials, or enough of my name that I can distinguish it from everybody else's. And I'm also going to put the date. And what you can see is when I labeled that plate, I did it on the bottom of the plate, not on the lid, okay? I did it on the bottom of the plate, and I also did it all around the edge, and I used a Sharpie marker. So the fact that I used a black Sharpie is not a coincidence. Sharpies, I find the black one writes the best and is least likely to fade or wipe off easily. So you can use a black Sharpie marker right around the edge on the bottom of the plate. And we write around the edge because if you write all over your agar, you're going to be competing with the bacterial growth. It will block some of your colonies. So we kind of try to write around the edge. You also notice when I'm done with these plates, I always put them with the lid down. And the reason for that is I can easily open the plate, inoculate it, and put it back with one hand. If I have the lid up, I have to open it, put that down, go over here, get this, twist it. It's a lot more maneuvers. So I'm in the habit of always putting them with the lid down. You might see that I'm dripping some water there. That water is just some condensation that was made when the plates were, that was created when the plates were made. It's just sterile water. It's just, it's not going to cause you any harm. So to inoculate these plates, I need to label all 3 of them. So I have sabarod agar, my soil sample, and my date. And the same thing for the EMB, soil, my name, and my date. And I'm going to take one of these sterile swabs. Typically the way I do this is I pull, I'm a right-handed, so I pull with my right pinky the lid off, and then I'm going to pull out my swab with my right hand, and then I'm going to close it right back up. I want to open that tube as little as I have to. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my soil sample. I'm going to mix it up well, and then I'm going to remove the lid with my right pinky. I'm going to go in there and get my swab nice and wet. I'm going to screw the lid back on. Actually, sometimes you can see it's kind of pretty moist. I'm going to squeeze it out a little bit. Kind of rub it along the inside edge, just squeeze it out a little bit, and close that up. I'm going to go to one of my first plates. This one happens to be nutrient agar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at you see how, if you guys can see this. I'm going to start at the top of the plate. I'm going to go back and forth all the way to the bottom. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Let's see. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back and forth from top to bottom, and I'm going to close that up. I can get some more soil. I don't know that I need it, but I could, if I want to just be consistent. Squeeze it out. And do the same thing with my sabarod. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to 100% cover that plate. I don't want to leave any spaces. If you gouge your agar just a little bit, I did there just a little bit. Sabarod's a little bit softer than nutrient agar, and I was at kind of a weird angle. So if you gouge it a little bit, it's not a problem. It's not what you choose to do, but it's not going to cause you a problem. I always always do, in this case, if I have a medium that's a certain color, I would do that last, just in case, or has some unusual ingredients. Sometimes my swab gets a little bit red with this EMB agar. Now I'm going to close that up. When I'm done with my swab, I'm going to discard it in the beaker. That's it. I'm going to incubate those plates for, with soil samples, I like to go for a couple of days, get the colonies pretty big. So I'll incubate those for a couple of days, and we're going to look at them in lab.